Today I'm going to talk to you about a technique called wet on wet. So the first thing that we did is we took a piece of watercolor paper and we taped it down to a plastic surface, either to a blue tray or to one of these black printing trays. Then we're going to take turns taking the big brush and we're going to dip it in the water, and then we're just going to take water and just paint it all over our entire paper. So I'm just going to go water all over this whole thing, really making sure that I get the paper saturated. Make sure that it's wet, that means. So I'm going back and forth, and the reason that I have it taped down is that when paper gets water on it, sometimes it tends to kind of curl up, and so that tape is to help that paper from curling up. Now once I've gotten the water completely spread over my whole entire piece of paper, then I'm going to be ready to start with the color. So I'm just making sure here that every single part of my paper is saturated and covered with water. Okay, now that everything's saturated with water, I'm going to take this smaller brush and I'm going to dip it in water and swish it around in whatever color, the yellow or the orange, because I'm kind of going for a sun color right now. So I swish it around in yellow, and I'm just going to kind of make some stripes across my paper here. And since I've got that water, I can kind of pick it up and it will start to kind of smear. So I can do that in all different kind of directions, and you can kind of see it slowly starting to run down. And again, if I feel like I need more water, I can go ahead and take the big brush, add some sections with more water, take the little brush, get a little more paint on it with some water, roll it in here. Maybe I want to add a little bit of orange, so I'm going to add some orange now. Swipe around here. And once I've kind of done that, I can pick the paper up. It's got a lot of water on it, and I can pick it up this way, and as you can see, it's starting to run down there. And then I can pick it up this way, and it'll run down towards the bottom. Then I can pull it this way to get it to run down. Okay. I really probably want to use a little bit more yellow because I'd really like this to look like a sunshine when I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and start to add some more yellow and keep moving my picture around to get those colors to mix and blend as I go along. Alright, so I'm just continuing to add water over here. And like I said, it got a little bit more orange than I wanted it to be. So I've got yellow, and I'm just going to keep on adding more and more yellow where I can in those white spaces. And again, you saw me just add a little bit more water. I'm going to put some yellow over here, here where it's so orange. Okay, and I'm just continuing to move around in the yellow, and then I can pick it up and kind of get it to blend by holding it. And you can watch really closely as those watermarks start to move down the paper and blend those colors. So I'll hold it up this way, and now you can see the water starting to move down that way. And I just keep doing that until my paper is completely covered the way that I want it to be. So I'm going to move it a little over to get it over into this corner here and off the paper. There we go. And then once it's the color I like, I'm good to go to let it dry. Alright, now I'm just going to be demonstrating the same technique but on another piece of paper. I did not change my water. I still have the same water. And as you can see, it's a little bit yellow, and that's okay. The yellow is not really showing up on my paper, and even if it was, that's alright because I'm going to just be kind of adding a bunch of other colors to this paper. So this time again, I'm starting out by saturating my paper, making it really nice and wet. There's puddles of water in some places and not as much water in others. And then again, I'm going to take the little brush and dip it in the water, and then I can go ahead and choose whatever color that I want. This time I'm choosing red, and I'm just going to put a couple of red streaks kind of around the paper. And I'm going to dip in my water and kind of rinse that out, and this time I'm going to do a little bit of blue. Okay, and I'm also going to add in a little bit of green. And if the color isn't showing up, then I use less water, and I kind of flicked that on accident there. And now what I'm going to do is I do have some puddles of water, so I'm going to kind of pick this up. And as you see, as I pick it up, it starts to kind of bleed together, the different colors do. They're blending and mixing, so I'm going to carefully be moving it around. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get too close to the edge so that I don't have paint dripping all the way down onto my table. So when it gets close to the edge like it is over here, then I just kind of start redirecting it into another direction onto my paper. Okay, now if I want my colors to be brighter, again, I'm going to kind of use less water. I'm going to start filling in those places where I want those colors to be brighter. And then I'll just kind of keep adding water and picking my paper up and moving it around. I'm adding a little yellow here to brighten it up, moving it around in different directions to really fill that whole space. So here I'm going to pick it up and blend the colors by moving it around. Okay, so I'm going to keep on doing this, kind of playing around with it, adding the colors that I like until it is exactly the way that I want it to be.